first time my mother lied to me about food, I believed her completely. "I already ate at work," she said, pushing the plate towards me with a tired smile. And because I was young, because I was hungry, and because children trust their mothers too easily, I ate everything without questioning why her own stomach kept making quiet noises later that night. I did not know then that poverty changes people silently. It teaches parents how to suffer without witnesses. It teaches mothers how to smile while breaking apart slowly inside. Back then, my school fees had not been paid for almost 2 months. Every morning I entered class carrying fear heavier than my school bag. Students whose fees were complete received exam cards, while the rest of us sat there pretending not to notice the difference. Some teachers embarrassed us openly. Others simply ignored us, which somehow hurt even more. I stopped talking during lunch breaks. I stopped raising my hand in class, even when I knew the answers. Shame has a way of making intelligent people feel invisible. At home, things were getting worse too. The landlord had started visiting almost every week. Sometimes we slept in darkness after our electricity was disconnected. My mother worked endlessly at a roadside food stall, standing for long hours under heat and smoke while frying akara and cooking rice for strangers. Every evening she returned home exhausted, her wrapper carrying the smell of cooking oil and charcoal smoke. Yet somehow she still looked at me and said, "Just focus on your education. Leave the worrying to me." But I was already noticing changes. She began skipping meals more often. Sometimes she coughed heavily at night when she thought I was asleep. Her slippers were worn out. The small handbag she carried everywhere had started tearing at the edges, yet she kept sewing it repeatedly instead of buying another one. Still, she never complained. Then one afternoon, the school finally gave me the last warning. "If your fees are not paid by Friday, do not return." I remember walking home slowly that day, watching other students laugh beside the road while my chest felt tight with fear. I wanted to become a nurse someday. I wanted to rescue my mother from the kind of life that made her hands rough before she even turned old. But suddenly, my future felt like something slipping away from both of us. That evening, my mother barely spoke. She sat quietly near the window, staring outside while rubbing her wedding ring gently with her thumb. It was the only expensive thing she still owned, old, slightly scratched, but precious to her. Even after my father abandoned us years earlier, she never removed it. Maybe because it reminded her of the woman she used to be before survival hardened her life. The next day, she returned home earlier than usual. Her eyes looked swollen like someone who had been fighting tears all afternoon. But she forced a smile and handed me an envelope. Inside was my school fees receipt. "You can go back to school tomorrow," she whispered. I screamed with excitement and hugged her tightly. For the first time in weeks, I slept peacefully. I never asked where the money came from. I simply wanted to believe miracles still happen to poor people. 3 days later, while she was washing clothes outside, I noticed something that made my heart stop. Her finger was bare. At first, I thought she removed the ring temporarily. But later that night, I searched everywhere quietly while she slept under the pillow inside her small handbag, near the kitchen container where she kept important things. The ring was gone. "Mama, where is your wedding ring?" She froze. For a few seconds, the entire room became painfully quiet. Then she smiled softly, though her eyes were already filling with tears. "Some things can be replaced later," she said quietly. "Your future cannot." And suddenly I understood everything. My mother had sold the last symbol of her marriage just to keep me in school. She sold the final proof that somebody once promised to stay beside her forever, so her daughter would not lose the chance to become somebody in life. Years later, on the day I graduated from nursing school, I bought her another ring. It was simple, not expensive. But the moment I placed it in her palm, she cried harder than I had ever seen before. Because sometimes the people who love us most suffer quietly, hoping we never discover how much they gave up just to protect our dreams. So let me ask you this: how many parents are secretly starving, struggling, borrowing, or selling precious things just to give their children one more opportunity in life? And how often do we mistake their sacrifices for ordinary responsibility instead of extraordinary love?